How we doing, everybody? Tim from Ski Rex Media once again. How are you all doing out there? I myself am doing okay. Voice is a little jacked up, throat's a little jacked up. Why? Because everything outside, from the rain and the snow melt and all the water, is all growing in rather well for spring. It's that time when flowers and trees and everything start to grow. And when they start to grow, they start to throw pollen in every which direction, including at people, so the seasonal allergies are going out of control. So please pardon my voice and any throat clearing I do. I do have water on standby. Please pardon it. I don't mean to be gross. I really don't. I'm trying. I really am. You could say, why don't you take something? True, I could take Benadryl, but if I did that, I'd be falling asleep halfway through the dang podcast, and that's not good for anybody. Well, I don't know. It could be kind of funny, but it's kind of counterproductive, counterintuitive, kind of counter, not any of those good things. So we're gonna just kind of deal with it and the allergy voice and all that and move on so we can get this done. It is Monday, April 12th. This should be out if you're watching this on its first day. It's Wednesday, April 14th, so I hope your week has been going well. I did have something I wanted to talk about today. Nothing important, nothing crazy, just a little storytelling. Since the season, the winter and the spring are coming to a close, we're moving into summer season, which means for a lot of us who participate in snow sports are about to, things are about to slow down, at least when it comes to snow sports. People will do their thing during the summer. There'll be people at the beach. There'll be people still on the mountains on the trail or on bikes or what have you, or whatever you choose to do in the summer and early fall until the snow starts flying again, or going to the inside places. Big Snow, American Dream in New Jersey, or the Plastic Hills, Snowflex, and any other one that might be out there in the United States. But while we're waiting, I thought I would tell a couple, a story from over the winter just to be entertaining. It wasn't anything great. But then I found something else I'd rather talk about that's not, it's kind of important from the business side of snow sports, and I didn't actually even find it. Number one hype man and Ski Rex Media superfan Tech Rob found this, found an article. He put it into one of our group chats, our East Coast group chats for skiing, and which contains many of the Ski Rex Media, the biggest Ski Rex Media fans around. And it was talking about, it was for New Hampshire specifically, so they were talking to Ski New Hampshire. It was from a New Hampshire paper, I think. I can't remember offhand, but they were talking about how, New Hampshire ski resorts, and I would assume ski resorts as a whole did pretty well this year considering everything they went through, but that food and beverage sales were down. And this is kind of something I also think will be across the board nationwide and probably even worldwide. Excuse me, for those that were open, because, COVID-19 restrictions and guidelines said, hey, no hanging out in the lodge this year. Because we all know come lunchtime, when everybody buys the majority of their food and beverage, that thing is packed. The lodge is packed. And with a packed lodge, pardon that drink of water, that's why I went silent there for a second, for you audio-only fans, at lunchtime, the lodge gets packed. That's what it is. But, as I said in this article, it was talking about how food and beverage numbers are down. Nobody went in lodges for anything more than to use the restrooms, warm up for a second, maybe grab whatever they had wrapped, muffins, bagels. I didn't honestly never even looked. Anywhere I went this season, I didn't even bother with food. And that got me to thinking, and I actually said this already during the season, but since it came up in that article, I thought I'd bring it up now. This year really isn't the big deal for that. Yeah, it sucks. These mountains make a good chunk of change with the food and beverage department. I worked in food and beverage. I saw it. I absolutely saw it day in, day out. Of my 5 years at Mount Snow, 4 were spent on the cafeteria line at the Summit Lodge, either slinging soup or running the register, for the most part. My last year there, I was in the Grand Summit Hotel in Harriman's kitchen. I was working in the kitchen. Pardon that microphone bump. They make a good amount of money. because I remember working at the Summit Lodge, 10 o'clock would hit, the line would be back to the doors, and we couldn't clear it until 3 o'clock. And it's not like we weren't working. We were doing everything we could to clear that line, and only around 3:30 did it really slow to a crawl right before lifts closed. So there you go. So they do make a lot of money, and it is kind of a bummer for them that they, took a hit. Not their fault. But this year, that doesn't matter. It's next year. It's next year. Now, you could say, well, Tim, it's unlikely that they'll need to do that next year. Lodges won't be off limits because, they'll be vaccinated peoples. COVID might be in decline depending on which story you read from which mainstream media outlet you tend to, enjoy, or not necessarily enjoy, but, you read their stuff. There are some that say in the fall there's going to be a resurgence. There's others that say this is just going to become part of the common cold. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, scientist, anything, and maybe I haven't expressed how I feel about mainstream media often here, but let's just say we're not necessarily friends. Now, it's going to be a bigger problem next year because now people are accustomed to bringing their own stuff. Hence the title of this episode, Rest in Peace Lodge, Long Live the Tailgate, or whatever I actually name it. It'll be something along those lines. Rest in Peace Lodge Food, Long Live the Tailgate, something like that. Because it's not that the lodge is dead. It won't be dead. People still need to sit down for 5 minutes. Some people don't carry anything in their backpack, so they'll need water and things like this. But food is done for a couple of years anyway, until people start to realize that they want the convenience of eating in the lodge, and that is what you're paying for, is the convenience. But is it really convenient? It is if you want hot food. Obviously, if you want real honest to God cooked meals, you need to have at least a small grill in your car for the tailgate thing. And then some mountains don't allow it, and others may or may not, as this becomes a thing, because it was a big thing this year. I saw it everywhere. Every mountain I went, screw it. On my birthday, February 22nd, I was at Pico. I pulled in, I'm getting ready, minding my own business, whatever. Car pulls in, couple, it was spaced out, but it was in the same row. Didn't think anything of it. Another one pulled up. It was a group of people, and they weren't even getting ready to go up on the hill. They were already breaking out tables and chairs and coolers and shit. Like, it was first thing in the morning. Everybody else is heading up, and these fools were ready to party, man. It was kind of cool. And I assume they got up there because when I went back to my car to take off for the day, they were coming down, and only a couple of them were actually hanging out to prep. And then everybody else came off the hill, and then they had their little tailgate party. And that was a big thing. I participated in one when I met up with the PAs out there in Black Mountain, New Hampshire last month. The cheesesteaks were flying, and we weren't the only ones. Man, those are some nice people. And what we couldn't eat, that went to the lifties, man. It wasn't, it was a thing. But like I said, it wasn't just us that day. It wasn't just those people at Pico. I saw it everywhere, from full, honest to God, tailgate setups to people like me who were just throwing a peanut butter sandwich in their backpack and sitting in the car just for a place to sit down. It's going to kill the lodge for a bit because, believe it or not, like, some menus in some ski hills are varied. You can get a lot of different choices, but it's mainly burgers, chicken fingers, fries, and soda pop, and then whichever, depending on if they're a Coke or a Pepsi Mountain, is which sodas you got, which energy drinks you have, which sports drinks you may have, be it Gatorade, Powerade, Monster, or Red Bull, or whatever. The Rock Stars were the ones I drank, Coca-Cola product, to be honest there, to tell you the truth. It's not that varied, and when you bring your own shit, you can bring whatever you want that you're willing to deal with. And it really is more convenient, I think. Well, I did say you're kind of paying for convenience because it's right there. You don't have to carry anything. But think about how no longer have to hit the line. If you eat in your car like we did during the COVID-19, you don't have to wait. And some of those lines at noon are ridiculous. ridiculous. You have to fight through the food line to get to the bathroom line to maybe get back outside. It's a damn war zone. That lodge floor is a war zone. You can't get through there. You're throwing, like, think about the most crowded you've ever been. I have been on the New York City streets on some really rough days during rush hour and crazy shit going on in the city. In particular, I was on my way to the Roseland Ballroom. I think it's the Roseland. And there was just bumper to bumper traffic cars. There was shoulder to shoulder traffic people. There were cops everywhere. We ended up cutting over to Broadway and going down, or cutting over from to 8th from Broadway, whatever we did. Turns out there was a dude climbing a skyscraper. This dude does it all over the world. He's been arrested a ton of times, but they can only charge him for trespassing. So he pretty much walks away with a ticket every time. He does it all over the world. He climbs skyscrapers. He's a rock climber who's just doing a bit. I don't know if the guy still does it. But anyway, that day it was shoulder to shoulder, throwing elbows to get through, and that was nothing compared to a ski lodge at noon. Now, that may be over dramatic, that may be exaggerating, but I think you get the idea. People don't like to do that. They do it because they kind of feel like they have to, but now they know that they don't have to. You just don't have to, and I don't know if I ever want to go back. Again, some days a burger or chicken fingers goes down pretty nice. At the ski mountain, chicken fingers, fries, and a soda pop goes down pretty nice. But you know what's even easier is a power bar, a bag of chips, and a soda pop. Like, it works out at the car where I didn't have to deal with anybody. And again, depending on your mountain, where you park might be 2 miles away. And I get that. But shout out to the indie mountains. They're not as big. Their parking lots aren't as big, and you don't have to walk nearly as far. Or if you're like me, you threw it, your water and the sandwich in the bag. And I just pulled up to an empty picnic table that had nobody there, just a bench. It wasn't even a picnic table, it was a bench. One time in particular, at Pat's Peak, I just kind of slid up, sat down, pulled my sandwich out, and ate it. Well, I washed my hands first. Cleanliness and be sanitary. Wash your hands. And I ate right there, drank my drink, waited, a half hour, 20 minutes, whatever it was, right back on the lift. Half hour lunch, man. I was in, out, and done. No playing around, no messing around, just did it and gone. And I think people are going to prefer that. I really think they are. And it's the biggest thing that they've noticed, that everybody's going to notice, is the cost. If you add up the day I was at Black Mountain, and Rob was doing some cooking on the flat top there, making those cheesesteaks. And I bet you, I don't know what he paid. We don't need to know what he paid. Because how many of us were there? 5. There were 5 of us. If we all ate lodge food that day, we would have been more than paid more for than what, just a ton of ribeye that he had on that. I assume it was shaved ribeye. I don't remember. But, he spent less, or whoever threw in the cash for that. I forget. I'm a very forgetful person, but when I'm on, I'm on, and I know that. Well, let's just take it back to what we all know. If you eat in the resort, whether it's a ski resort, whether it's a theme park, whether it's on the beach, whether it's wherever you go, you're always going to pay more for various reasons. But the main reason is because people will pay it. Now, you could hear a lot about how the cost of bringing food in, the cost of logistics, the cost of paying people, whatever. It's because people will pay for it. Absolutely. You think I don't know that's true? Let me give you an example. One day, when I was working at Mount Snow at the Summit Lodge, we started offering French bread pizza. We had French bread. We took it up, halved it, sauce, cheese, oven, boom. This happened during my days off. In fact, I think that was the year. That was my senior year. So I obviously I was in school during the week. No, it wasn't. It was the year after, because I was working during midweek. Because I remember there weren't a lot of people there, and but it was after my 2 days off. It was the year after I graduated high school. So I was 18. In any case, but I didn't, this was new. I didn't know about it. No one told me about it. I'm sitting on the register. There's been no new program. Like, this is an old register, mind you. Like, this thing was programmed by data tapes, the little cassettes with data on it. The person who worked down in the office had to come up the lift, plug this old archaic machine, since they've long since replaced those, but it wasn't programmed, so I had to put it in myself. I said, hey, called down the line, how much is this? They said what I thought was $1.55. What they said was 105. So I just put in 155. They were 105. After they found out people would pay 155, they went up to 150. Prices are high because people will pay for it. And again, that's not the only reason, but that's one of the main reasons, especially when you come to food and beverage. People will pay for it. That's why you see high end restaurants getting away with some of the prices they do, because people go in and they pay for it. So, when you have a $15 cheeseburger, it's because you paid for it. And I also know this because during my time at the Summit Lodge, like I said, I was either on the cafeteria line serving or running the register, which I did most of the time. And excuse me, let me get a drink here. Hold that thought. Again, pardon the allergies, man. Shout out to Mount Snow too. But while I'm working the register, people in line would complain about the prices. Like, I can't believe this is this expensive. I can't believe this is what you have to pay for. I can't believe this is what we get. All while they're handing me cash. Sorry, dude. I don't control the pricing, man. They do, because they know you'll pay for it. And they make a pretty decent profit. Now, that can be argued, because I could be wrong. I could just be being dramatic. I could just be dramatic and exaggerating, but there is some truth in it, believe me. In any case, people are now realizing they don't have to. They don't have to. It's now about what you want to do. And it could be from any level. Like I said, for me, simple peanut butter sandwich. Why? The nutritional value for it. You got the carbs from the bread. You got all the protein from the peanut butter. It's friggin' delicious. Like, dude, I could eat peanut butter from the jar by the spoonful. And some people say, well, a lot of people do that. Yeah, but they just do one. I could eat the whole damn jar. It's disgusting. I am a disgusting human being sometimes. But it's delicious and I enjoy it. And then I just have water. I drink water more often than anything else now anyway, so have water. But again, we had, the day I met up with those guys in Black Mountain, and that wasn't their only tailgating that they did that year. They put up pictures. Other, big super fan of Ski Rex Media, Scooter, we know him. He's been part of the virtual opera and active on the social media. He showed us more pictures today of all the tailgating they did this past season. So it just works out that way. And you could do, anything in between. Like, you could do a half a tailgate. You could put in one of those little jet stoves in your car and just one thing enough to boil the water and get your camping food pack of beef stroganoff, put the boiling water in it and just throw down, dude. It's that easy. Or if you have something cool like a mini grill or one of those BioLite grills where you could actually charge your phone while it's burning, because the heat creates electricity. It's a whole thing. Very cool. All kinds of technology there. Everything you could want. Or like I made the reference earlier, power bar, a bag of chips, and a bottle of water. Well, I said soda pop, but you get the idea. And all this costs nothing nothing compared to what you pay. Not that I'm knocking the resorts. I'm not. Granted, I may have thrown my 2 cents in on why it's charged so heavy, but I've paid it too, and sometimes I don't want to carry anything to the mountain. So I'm definitely that's the time it is convenient, is when you don't feel like carrying anything. You just want to get in the car and go. But for the next season or two, I think people are gonna be had enough. They're gonna have had enough of paying for it and the lines and everything. And again, I don't want to knock the ski industry. I'm not. It's just the nature of the beast. If a lot of people are in one place, it's busy. You ever been to a sporting event and you try to hit one of their concession stands? The lines can be ridiculous. Like, it's just when there's a lot of people in a one place at one time, and we all have basically the same routine. Like, we've all eaten lunch between 11 and 1 our whole lives. Like, growing up in school. And think about when your lunch periods are. Think about when lunch is now. Think about when the fast food places switched to lunch, when that was still a thing. I think a lot of places do breakfast all day, but they start serving lunch, but when? Between 11 and 11:30. and then noon. Like that's just the way we are. We as a society are run big routine, more alike than unalike. Something you should think about. Again, some of these lessons go well beyond Ski Rex media. You can take it into real life. But I'm fairly certain, at least for a couple seasons, food and beverage is going to take a real slap even when the lodges are fully open. Again, vaccinations and dwindling numbers, and who knows. Well, again, I don't know. Some places say numbers are on the rise. Some people say they've plateaued. I have no idea which one's actually right. I'm not the one keeping track. But the point stands, with all the vaccinations and it burning through people, eventually people are gonna, when you get it, you have, an immunity to at least that one for a little while. So in any case, just, lodges will be open and nobody will be going in for anything but the bathrooms. And I kind of feel bad for the food service people, man, because that job is fun, even though it is busy. Like it was busy, but and it was frustrating at times and stressful, and you might get mad and snap at somebody, but in the end I had a lot of fun on that job, man. 15 through age 20, and working in food service, like I said, mostly at the Summit Lodge there at Mount Snow. And man, what a fun job. Just, we had so much fun. But then I wasn't always in the lodge. None of us weren't always in the lodge. Some of us were doing barbecues on different parts of the mountain. I don't know if Mount Snow still, takes the grill down into the bottom of North Face, but we were down there several times, doing it, and, different events. Like working, believe me, working at a ski hill is a fun job. It really is. I had a lot of fun. I mean, but then to each their own. There's people who, I had a lot of fun in retail too, and there's even days I think it sucked, but generally speaking, I've had fun on my jobs. And but I really do think that while this article in particular, which is what started this, pointed out that this season food and beverage was down, which was obvious since the lodges were generally weren't closed, but basically they didn't want anybody hanging out in them, and they weren't selling real food. It was grab and go shit, and I don't think, because it was a regulation, a restriction, a guideline. Of course, that's going to happen. Nobody is shocked. More people are shocked that ski numbers were actually really good, considering what we had and what we had to deal with. And you can only imagine what they would have been without, needing capped days, capped attendance days. Only being able to service a bunch of people. But I think people are, I think that's more surprising than, your lodge is closed. So how are you going to sell food and beverage? Obviously. But next year, when there's not, and again, I could be wrong. People could say, well, Tim, you do have a point, but fuck you. I'd rather eat in the lodge than carry anything with me at all day. Plus, I like burgers. Some mountains do have, they have bragging rights when it comes to their burgers, man. They do. I've had a few good ones, and anybody will tell you what their favorite is and what the best might be. I don't think you could say the best. I think you can say what your favorite is, because of how subjective something could be. This type of thing could be, but man, there are a few out there that, just thinking about them will make you start drooling. So, that may be a thing. However, I don't think bars will have a problem. You could say the same thing about the bars. People, you know, the bars weren't, they had limited capacities and everything too, very similar. So if your bar sales were down, your booze sales were down. That's not surprising during a time when things were closed, or near closed, or limited capacities. But people love to drink. Like that's just a human thing. Like people love it. I don't do it anymore, but and again, tailgating, you could say, well, didn't people bring their own beers? Yeah, totally. I saw tons of beers out there, but well, actually now I don't know. It might, no, bars, because bars can be an everyday, anytime thing. So I don't know. I could be wrong about that. Which, but again, I could be wrong about food service at too. Like the food service departments could absolutely do justice, could bounce right back. And what do I know? Do I think they will? No, not for a couple seasons. I think people will be more ready to start packing the peanut butter sandwich, to start packing power bars, or some kind of similar camping or backpacking meal, like whatever we use for that, or banging out like some kind of cool, tailgating setup. Believe me, one of the things I look at that has nothing to do with Ski Rex Media, but we've made it have to do with Ski Rex Media. We've talked about cars here and cool custom rigs for skiing and snowboarding and snowmobiling and things like this. I've talked about cars a few times. Talked about cars on the Virtual Opry, the live streaming Virtual Opry, which the new season may or may not be starting in the summer. Again, still working on that. But in any case, I've seen some sick custom tailgating rigs out there, man. Like people with built-in grills right into the bed of their pickup truck or their damn trunk of their cars. And they just pull up, flip a couple doors open, and boom, they're ready to. They could serve the entire mountain like it's a friggin' professional job in someone's car. Like it's ridiculous. Some people could do that, and the tailgating thing is also part of the social thing. Now, granted, this year tailgating was with the people who went as groups when things were still very socially distanced. So it was a specific family was doing it, or this specific group of roommates was doing it. All that goes away. All the socially distant thing comes away, and then it just becomes a party again. So, people are going to be floating from this one to that one. It's a big social experience, and people like social experiences. We learned that during the pandemic. If anybody ever doubted it, like humans are social people. We are social animals. That's what we are. Even for those who say, I am introverted, that may be true, but the majority of everybody, I would assume, likes the social aspect, especially if you do a sport or you participate in a sport like this. So I think the tailgate will live on, and it never went away. But now there was an excuse to do it. Not really an excuse to do it, but now more reason to do it. Like, well, dude, if we can't eat at the mountain, and why not just fire it up during lunch in the parking lot and have at it, man? Why not do that? It's like, all right, let's do that. And people did it. And I'm pretty sure that's the way it's going to stay. So start working on your, for this coming season. I know it's not coming right away, but summer will only last so long, and so will fall. So start prepping your menus now. Start prepping your rigs now. I don't know, man. If you have an SUV, there's plenty of grills, or a pickup truck. There's plenty of grills that'll fit right on your damn trailer hitch, or just on your tailgate, or like I said, mini tabletop ones, or just a jet stove that you could boil water and put it in the bag. Mountain House gear and those other brands like Wise and all those other like prepper foods like that are made like that, dude. You could take care of yourself. You could hook yourself up and never go in that lodge for anything more than to take a leak. And believe me, this year I saw people not even worrying about that and doing it right on the side of the trail in the trees. Whatever, to each your own. Right? Right. It's something to think about in any case. I don't want to see any ski mountain take a hit that they can't survive. However, they might have to reevaluate their food and beverage strategies, because people might not come back inside because of cost versus not cost and convenience and all these other things. Variety, personalization, all that. They might not go back in the lodge right away. So ski mountains may have to, reevaluate their food and beverage and how they advertise it, what they do, and how they do it. I don't know. But we'll see about that. I don't know. What else we're going to talk about today? Because I think that's good. If you agree with me on that one, let me know. If you disagree, let me know. Plenty of ways. Look in the description on any version, really, audio or video, and you can find the email address, you can find the social media links, all that good stuff. And you can tell me what you think. Also, let's see, this week, one of the reasons I'm recording on a Monday for once is because Tuesday night, if all goes according to plan and everything goes well, I will be recording on another program. I will be guesting on someone else's program. So Ski Rex Media will be a guest. I won't put it out there. I'll just tease it. So whatever your favorite ski, snowboard, other snow sport podcasts are, take a guess, figure out which one I'm going to be on in the coming weeks, because it should be recorded tomorrow night, Tuesday night, and we'll see that, and then I'll plug it, when I know the actual date, the actual release date, because this is recorded, not live. So it'll be recorded one day and come out another, just like I'm doing right now. I'm recording on Monday, comes out first time on Wednesday. Right. Thank you. Keep an eye out for that. Keep an eye out for other things. The new merch shop, if you want to get into this, pardon the mic bump, if you want to get in on the Ski Rex Media merch, the new merch shop, which will also maybe include a redesign of this one. I haven't decided yet. The Welcome to Vermont sign, the Ski Rex one. I would love to get the state of Vermont to change all the Welcome to Vermont signs to say that so it says the home of Ski Rex Media, but they won't do that, and I don't expect them to. I would just think that would be awesome. So that's coming up. You could go to Patreon and check that out if you want. And like I said, check out all the social medias and stuff. I haven't been active on social media lately, but we be able to change that soon enough. Soon enough, right? Right. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. Hashtag watching. And we'll check you on the next one. I'll check you on that other program once that's done. And who knows? Maybe I'll see you out there this summer on the trail. I like to stay in the mountains, and I will be on the mountains, and I'll even be on the beach a couple times, but whatever. That really won't be Ski Rex Media related. That'll be just Tim related. But you never know. Maybe I'll figure out a Ski Rex Media bit or two. Right? Right. Have a good rest of your week. Everybody have a good evening, morning, night, whatever you're listening to this or watching this, and I'll see you out there. Later.